Hey there guys, I am SonicGhost and welcome to an unboxing of Sonic Origins Plus. Released on June 23rd, 2022, Sonic Origins is a collection of 2D Sonic games which includes the original Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic CD, and Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, all released in one package. Now when this game originally came out, it was digital only, but a year later, in June 23rd of 2023, Sonic Origins Plus has now released on all the major platforms, and now there is a physical release of the said game. And here we are going to be unboxing the Nintendo Switch version of the game, but Sonic Origins Plus is available on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. So you can get your copy of the game on whatever platform you want. I originally played this game on the PC version last year when it came out actually, and I did a first impressions video over the entire package. If you want to see my initial thoughts on Sonic Origins when it first came out in 2022, I'll link that first impressions video down in the description below. But today we're going to be taking a look at the updated release of Sonic Origins Plus. Now this version comes with all of the content that was in the original Sonic Origins, including some of its extra DLC, which is some skins for your 4x3 backgrounds along with animations in the overworld area on the main menus. But Sonic Origins Plus also has 2 new playable characters for all their games, and then a bunch of Sega Game Gear Sonic games included in the collection. This sells for the exact same price as Sonic Origins sold for when it first released back in 2022 at $40. So I say at that price point, Sonic Origins Plus is a very meaty content of a package, especially compared for the original release, which has now dropped down from $40 to $30, which is a much better value if you just wanted the Sega Genesis and the Sega CD game. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the box here for Sonic Origins Plus, which is very thematical of the Sega Genesis era of Sonic games. If you lived here in North America, we got the Sega Genesis. Everywhere else in the world, it was the Sega Mega Drive. But it's very reminiscent of the Genesis box art of Sonic games back in the day. We can see here it says we got 16 classic Sonic games, as they are spinning this as, because of the original games that are in the package, which were 4 games, and now a bunch of Game Gear games, adding up to 16 in total, with some new playable characters to boot. This time around, it's classic Amy and also Knuckles for Sonic CD. So if we flip over to the back here, we can see a lot more of a description here for the said package. So we can see we got 16 classic titles, one timeless collection as they spin it. We can play the 4 iconic games remastered in widescreen HD from the original, which, as I mentioned before, all the Genesis and the 1 CD game. You got new modes, challenges, and areas, unlockable bonuses in the museum mode, new playable character of Amy in all of the games, and Knuckles in Sonic CD. You got 12 collectible Game Gear titles, as they put it, which I don't know how collectible Game Gear titles really are. These games have been in so many collections, just like the Genesis titles, that you probably own a lot of these Game Gear games without even knowing it. So I would definitely say not as collectible as Sega is spinning this out to be. We got a reversible cover sheet here and a 20-page art book in the physical release. And we have all of our extra information here telling us it's 2-player. You have some online functionality, which is mainly just for leaderboards. And that's pretty much the gist here of the said package. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and open up the said package in style here. So I'm just gonna slit a hole into the bottom here, and then we can just pull off the plastic. And this one, since I am unboxing the Nintendo Switch release, this is kind of weirdly packaged, as they have a lot of dead space in the said box. So I take this off, we can see here on the top we have the game itself and then the art book here, but then there's just this gap. This is nothing. This is just a little spacer to fit everything in one big package, which makes this kind of hard to store on the shelf, because here's the game itself, and then there goes the art book alongside of it. Things will just fall out very easily. But for right now, we're just going to take things out one at a time, and we'll take a look at the actual physical release of Sonic Origins Plus next. So this here is the physical release. Looks very similar to the box we just saw beforehand. So we got that Genesis looking background with all the characters here. Flip around to the back. Same description as before. Your 16 classic titles, new character, collectible Genesis games, all that stuff. If we open it up here, we have actually a DLC code right in the front, which talks about, if I can get it out of the package here, we can see that this code here will give us the Origins Plus content. So the content is not on the actual cartridge itself here on Sonic Origins Plus, as this is just the game by itself, but instead this here will give you the unlock to the actual Origins Plus content, which is a piece of $10 downloadable content on these storefronts. So if you want the base game and only the base game, you can purchase the Origins Plus content separately, and that's how they handled it for the physical release, which I think that's a cool little idea, but I'm going to put that aside for now and take a look at the other stuff here, which not much else in the package besides some normal like health and safety paperwork here, which not really going to be taking a look at for this. But we can see here we got a reversible cover, as that outside box said. So we can take this out, flip it around, put it back inside of the switch case here. And now, here is what the new cover looks like. So now this one is more reminiscent, I would say, to some of the Japanese Sonic game releases, as this looks a little more like the Japanese art, which I really like how it looks. Every character is holding on to one of the games or the systems that they are featured on, like Sonic holding up the Sega Genesis, Amy holding a CD for Sonic CD, Knuckles holding the lock-on cartridge for Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Tails holding a Game Gear for Tails Sky Patrol. I like all the references just with that art alone. And we flip it on the back here, and we can now see a different description. A collection with attitude. Think fast, because the dude with a tude is back and better in Sonic Origins Plus. So even the back of the box has some sass going on. And we got a couple of screenshots here from all the different games. You can even see the Hidden Palace Zone, the extra level added to the Christian Whitehead version of Sonic 2, which is in this collection. It's being shown in the back of the box, which is a nice little touch. And a playable Knuckles here in Sonic 1. So we're seeing a lot of the newer content in these screenshots here on this reversible cover. I just think this is a much better cover overall. Even the scan barcode here is now replaced and just says Genesis Does, which is a nice little nod to the original Genesis ads back in the day of Genesis does what Nintendo don't. So I think this is a much better cover, and I'm going to definitely leave this one on. Even the spine itself is a lot more expressive, saying Sonic Origins Plus with the Sega Genesis logo even here on the side. So this is a much better cover, and I'm definitely going to be having my game displayed on my shelf like this. But now, the last thing in here is our game cartridge for Sonic Origins. And now we can see here, it's a nice blue color in the background with some purple. Got the Origins Plus logo on it. It's very simple, but also very expressive and just pretty to look at. So that's your physical release of Sonic Origins Plus. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the other thing included with the physical release here, which is the art book. So I'm going to put all these other things aside, grab our box once again, and out comes the art book for Sonic Origins Plus. So this here is an extra thing you get when you buy the physical release of Sonic Origins, and it has a lot of the concept art stuff in here, so we can see some of the original designs for all the characters just sketched out roughly here, and all along with some of the original level design stuff from all of the different games in the collection. We got Sonic the Hedgehog logo there. We keep on flipping through the book, and we'll just start seeing the history of the character just start to unfold, see all the different changes that were made to these characters over the years, which is nice to see all in one place. And I do think for, a nice little extra you get in the physical release here, this is something really cool to look at, especially if you are a big fan of these Sonic games like myself. I grew up with the Genesis titles in my teenage years, as I played all of these games originally on the Sonic Mega Collection on the Nintendo GameCube. And it wasn't until the HD release of Sonic CD in 2011, I believe, where I finally got to play that version of Sonic CD. And I really do like all these games, and all the art in here too is really, really nice to look at. And some of it's very nostalgic for me because I've been following this series for years, and all this stuff I have seen in one way or another. But seeing some of this art in here I haven't seen before is a nice treat, and I think this is a welcome addition to Sonic Origins, and a nice little extra to have once again if you get the physical release of Sonic Origins, as you don't need to have this necessarily if you're just wanting to get the game by itself. You can easily pick it up digitally, but I think the goodies that you get here in the physical release are more than worth that $40 asking price. And with that, now we have looked at every single thing that comes with the physical release of Sonic Origins Plus. And I will say, just like as I said earlier, this is most definitely worth that $40 asking price if you want all these extra goodies all in one package, where you get the physical art book along with a digital code for all the Origins Plus content, and the Origins Plus content being an extra $10 to the original Sonic Origins game, I think is a worthwhile upgrade if you own the original. But if you don't own the original Sonic Origins and have been on the fence about this game since its release, I say pick up the Sonic Origins Plus release of the said collection, as it is a much more valued collection, I would say, at this point. It's worth more of the money that Sega's asking for, but a lot more content, and the game has been patched to fix all of the bugs that were present in the original release of Sonic Origins. If you watched my Sonic Origins first impression video, you would remember how I finished that said impressions of saying that Sonic Origins as a collection is a solid package of memorable Sonic games that play really well, but for $40 it was a high price to pay for 4 Sonic games that are in multiple collections over the years. And in fact, if you own the Nintendo Switch and have the Expansion Pass online service, you had access to some of those said games that were available in the Sonic Origins collection just from your subscription service to the Nintendo Online platform. So it made this a much harder sell at the time to just be $40 with 4 games in it. And some of those games had a lot of glitches when they first came out, and that was a harder sale as well. But nowadays, I can easily recommend Sonic Origins to a lot of Sonic fans, especially at the more balanced $30 to even $40 asking price, depending on the version you buy. It's a worthwhile collection in my opinion, especially if you want to play the best versions of pretty much every 2D Sonic game from the Sega Genesis era, as I believe that the Sonic Origins versions of every single one of these games are the definitive ways to play Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic CD, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. As for the Game Gear titles, I do think that's a nice inclusion here in the said package, but I don't really say that the Game Gear titles are why you're buying Sonic Origins Plus. Maybe it is for some people. For me, the big selling point for the Origins Plus DLC is a playable classic Amy, as that is a brand new character to all these games. We've never seen a playable Amy in any of these 2D Sonic releases before, and that is a big selling point to me that I'm definitely looking forward to trying out here in this release. But that's enough rambling for me. I'm going to close out this video by saying if you enjoy 2D Sonic games, Sonic Origins Plus is a great pickup, especially if you want that art book. Then I highly recommend picking up the physical release of Sonic Origins Plus, as I do think the physical release is a solid package. But with that said, thank you guys for watching this video. Now if you excuse me, I got some Sonic to play. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.